Hey everyone, welcome to Meet the Pros. Happy Tuesday. I'm really excited. This is my first time hosting Meet the Pros. I'm Glenn Aspesley, one of the creators of Ecamm Live. We are here today using our Ecamm Live product to introduce you to one of our users. Today we have the amazing Luke Dancy with us. He's joining us from the West Coast, and he is actually a social media strategist. He's been working with a company called Murphy's Magic as their social media strategist. They are the world's largest distributor of magic. That's right, magic. You heard it. And so, without further ado, I'm going to bring Luke Dancy on, and you'll get to meet him. So, Luke. Where's Luke? Oh, there you are.
Hey, what's up, Glenn?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. You're doing what I normally do, which is pretty funny, huh?
Yeah. A little background here. I'm the founder of a software company. I don't do a lot of video interviews, so this is really fun for me. And Luke, you do this for every day, right?
It's at least once a week. It's part of my role with the company I work with to interview people, and it's using Ecamm has definitely helped make that a lot easier. I'll tell you that.
Well, why don't you start by telling us a little bit about what you do?
Sure. So as Glenn mentioned, I work with Murphy's Magic Supplies. They're the world's largest magic distributor. So, all the magic shops around the world, they have to get their supplies from somewhere, and it's from a company called Murphy's Magic. They're located in California, Sacramento area. I'm here in Las Vegas, so I'll work remote, but it's cool because I get to use Ecamm Live, to interview magicians from all over the world that are inventing these tricks that we're selling to the magic shops. So now people, when they see them pop up, they now can ask these creators questions on these things, if it's the right trick for them. Is it really what it looks like in the commercials, the trailers that we put out? So it's really cool to use technology in this way to connect people and to educate them at the same time when it comes to what they want to purchase,
Nice. So we'll post a link to that video series down below, so
Cool.
people can check that out afterwards.
Cool.
I took a look at it. Looks like a really nice format. So the audience is magicians, right? And you interview magicians about their tricks, and it's weekly,
Yeah.
you said? What's the format? You bring on a guest usually and just chat?
Yeah, so there's this whole world of magic, magic tricks and playing cards, and this whole world of stuff, And so these guys that are out there, and I'm one of them too, that there are people that invent the magic tricks. They're the people that actually create these, and those are the tricks that you would see in a magic store. And so people that want to buy these tricks, they want to know more about them. And so the format of the show each week is for me to bring the guest on, and we have what's known as trailers for magic products. They're kind of like commercials, and they're pretty fancy these days. And so people watch them and they go, yeah, but does it really look that good? Is it really that, good in the real world, not just on video? Can I do this? Is it easy? All these basic questions. And so I can connect with the host. I host it. I connect with the magician. And people watching live, using Ecamm, I can put the comments and questions up on the screen.
Right.
People can ask the questions. And it's a great little thing that we're doing. It's at least once a week on Wednesdays. And I push it out to all the magic groups. We have magicians groups all over the world, too. So it's kind of a fun thing to use Ecamm to connect with all these people,
Nice. We did have one comment come in just now. Wes says working with magic and interviewing magicians for a living, dream job. So
yeah, dude.
You're living the dream there.
Yeah.
So that feature I just used, bringing a comment on the screen, you'll use that for like a Q&A when people are asking about the tricks.
Yeah, and the thing, Glenn, and I know you're very keyed into this, but the one cool thing for people watching is that when you do that, it makes people comment even more. When you're able to bring the engagement on screen, it gets people that want to be more engaged because they're like, oh, what if I pop up on the screen? It's like that love that they're looking for. So I think it actually helps build engagement at the same time.
That's definitely the impression I get. The idea that your comment's not just going to be something that no one's reading. The the person on camera is actually reading them, engaging with them. And in some cases, I've seen, that you can actually have someone else, in charge of kind of bringing those comments on screen, or at least curating the list for you, so that when you're ready to take your Q&A, you can just zip through those comments one by one, and kind of make everyone feel like they're a part of the broadcast.
Yeah, it's that community feel, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So one thing I wanted to ask you is how did you get into this this dream job of yours? What led you to this?
It's a pretty cool story, and I'll sum it up as quick as I can. I've been a magician for over 30 years. I just turned 40, so I started out as a kid. I was a performer my whole life, started out with little shows, birthday parties. Then I moved on to performing more corporate type stuff, but also started to invent my own magic tricks, which if you go to any magic shop around the world, there's tricks from me in there. And so that fast forwarded me to 2007 when Chris Angel, the guy from A&E, he had a TV series called Mind Freak. He caught wind of me and flew me to Vegas. I was living in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. And I worked with Chris Angel for like 7 years on helping to invent the tricks that he did on TV, also helping out with his marketing, social media for him. I ran a lot of that. And then he got out of TV. I'm still in Vegas, and there's this company, Murphy's Magic, that I've worked with over the years, and there was an opening for a social media person, kind of like a brand ambassador, I guess you could say. And they hit me up, and this is something I've done live broadcasting for years before it was ever like this easy, with Facebook Live and all that. And so I've used intricate software. I've used really, really difficult software, but I've also been used to this, and I really enjoy it. So this role was like perfect for me to fill in because I know the industry, I know the people in it, and I know this side of things too. Mm-hmm. These are my friends that I'm actually talking to every week, to be honest with you. So all the pieces kind of fell into place over the last 30 years. I kind of went this way and that way, and then everything kind of came together at the end. And it really is like a dream job at the end of the day. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. It's a fun thing to do.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, that sounds like Chris Angel. That's some, even us non-magic types have heard of the work that he did on TV. So it's great to kind of meet the behind the scenes aspect of that. So do you say you taught him everything he knows? Is that how you?
I won't put it that way. I helped out. I feel like I had a piece of the puzzle. I was a part of that puzzle. He and I developed a really good friendship over the years. Still good friends. And if you guys ever come to Las Vegas, definitely should check out his show at Planet Hollywood. It's fantastic. Yeah.
So that's when you say he got out of TV. He's doing a Las Vegas show now. Nice. Haven't been there in a while.
Oh man, yeah. Well, hit me up, Glenn. I'll make sure I'll get you some tickets. We'll go together. We'll hang out. Be good.
Excellent. I'd love to see that. And for as far as your live audience, it sounds, we were speaking earlier. It sounds like it's primarily a Facebook-based audience, or is it YouTube, or is it?
Well, for the time being, because I really like the comment integration that you guys have with the avatars. So it is specific to Facebook right now, but what I do is I'll usually edit it and then put it up on YouTube after, because of course, Murphy has a YouTube channel too. So once the integration with Restream, I think, goes up a notch, where the comments maybe smooth out and all that, then I definitely want to syndicate, because I've syndicated forever. Like I'm used to doing that. But I really, really, really love the feature that you guys have with those comments popping up, and I don't want to lose that. And so I would rather just save that, put it up on YouTube later. But yeah.
And for those watching who don't know as much about the Restream integration, a little background there is that when you use a service like Restream, and they're helping you stream out to several platforms at a time, you lose some of that tight integration with the platforms like Facebook or YouTube. And what Restream has done is given clients like Ecamm Live the ability to pull in comments from all the different platforms that are streaming out. So say you were streaming out to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Those comments would be coming in automatically to Ecamm Live, but it's not quite as smooth as it could be. You don't get the avatars. Like here I had Midori's pictures coming in directly to the live stream there. And you don't get that, and also sometimes it doesn't quite work as well as it could. It's sometimes the comments don't come in, for example, like in a Facebook group. So we're hoping that we can take it up a notch, like you said, and make it a lot smoother.
Yeah. Well, before you go any further, I want to say one thing though, Glenn. I know that you're talking about what's coming or what you want to do next, but what I would like to say for all the users is thank you for everything you've done up to this point. I mean, the big update that happened, I think, within the last month or so was huge for me. Being able to pan and zoom in on the shots from inside of Ecamm was huge for me. I always had trouble with that with guests, trying to get them in. Before I couldn't zoom in on the shot or pan it or move it. That's a huge thing for me. There's a lot of other nice things too that you've added, but I do want to give you some love for the stuff that you have added, because I know there's a lot that goes on to make it happen. So, for me and everyone else out there, I'm sure, we're all saying the same thing, which is a big thank you for what you guys have done for us.
That's really great to hear. I mean, you can tell I get really excited about the prospect of adding new things, but it's really good to kind of step back and look at what we've built in it, and the opportunity to use it right now to do this show with you is really special for me, because especially when everything is from a technical aspect is working really well. I love it. Like right now, see, that's not picking the right camera there.
Luke Dancy.
I'm trying to use the Stream Deck for this. This is something in our beta, and I guess it's not quite working perfectly. But what Luke was talking about with the zoom is Ecamm Live will let you apply a digital zoom and pan. I'm moving you around right now. So if you want someone to kind of like when you're doing a two-shot, like this two-shot, it's nice for the two people's heads to be the same size, just because it looks a lot nicer. Where before you would have to have them adjust their chair or their zoom. Now I can go ahead and fine tune it and kind of position it just right so that we match up really well in that two-shot.
So. It was also frustrating before, because for me I'd have the single shot of me as the host, and then it would go from that to the two-shot, and a lot of times my shot wasn't right because it was far away, and then it went to the two-shot and I'm still kind of far and the guest is close. It's huge. This Zoom feature is huge, so thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Absolutely.
So it sounds like you're pretty familiar with all the tools that are out there for live video, and also it seems like you're also pretty comfortable with the hardware involved. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your setup? I mean, people who are on the Ecamm Live community tend to love to hear about other users' setups. So I feel free to go into great detail about this, because it's we would love to know how you produce your weekly shows.
Sure. I guess this is time for us to geek out then, huh?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at here.
So first of all, I think the most important thing for me is I'm running Ethernet. I've got the highest level of speed you can get minus a business level here at home. And it's cool because downstairs I've got like a bonus room. This is my studio. This is a legit dedicated space. I've got different areas set up that I can switch the camera to, so it'll look like I'm in a totally different area. The lighting that I use is I've got Philips Hue lighting, which is pretty cool actually, because I can control the lights on my phone. I can change the colors. I can change the brightness of each one. I think behind me I've got two, and then I've got one on the side. Looking at you, I've got a ring light, the halo light. Got one of those.
You look very nicely lit. I just have like a window here on a sunny day, so I'm not very nicely lit. You look amazing.
Thanks. I definitely wanted everything to look a certain level, because when you're being paid, especially to do what I do, you don't want to have a crap product like on your phone, or just it needs to look good, and it should look good. The camera I'm rocking is a DSLR. It's a T7i. Another great integration I want to say too, another big step up. I used to have trouble getting Camera Live to recognize the camera, and now you guys have updated that to where you just plug and play for DSLRs with Ecamm, which is huge.
That's right. That was a pretty nice trick that Ken worked on for quite some time. Camera Live, like you're saying, it's a really cool innovation. But Camera Live was created as a free tool by a couple of really cool sort of artist guys. They do I think that I was reading about them. Their job is kind of a dream job too. They travel around. At least one of these guys travels around and does those big video backdrops for musicians when they tour, and they have that big backdrop and with all the crazy designs going around behind them. They write the software that make those things work, and they produce this Camera Live thing just kind of like a side project. So when something needed to be updated, like maybe something for a new Mac OS or new cameras, it's not their priority, obviously. They're really nice to keep this thing going for years. But like you said, when there's a problem, like something not recognized on the camera, you're kind of stuck. So we were able to find another open source project called Gphoto, and we were able to integrate that into our app as a cross-platform process. And it seems to be working really well. As Luke was saying, like you take your Canon DSLR and you plug it in with the USB cable. You have to do a couple little tweaks, like take out your memory card or make sure the camera's not in some funky setting, and then it just kind of shows up as a camera. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's
rad,
right
dude.
Now too. You
can tell.
It's a Canon EOS R series plugged in with the USB-C, and it's pretty slick.
And I'll say too, more props to you. Like I mentioned before, and I'm not going to say any names, but I've used some very expensive live editing software before, and none of them had the capability that you guys have, especially for DSLR. I used to have to try to use Blackmagic adapters and that type of stuff, and even that was a pain in the ass sometimes, and it didn't work. You guys have really stepped it up, I have to admit, especially for DSLRs. There's always been workarounds if you're willing to put in the work. But now you guys have made it where you just plug it in. It's like, hello, I'm here.
It really is a pleasure. I mean, that's kind of our goal with all the software we make is to get things to be plug and play and not have to send people running out to YouTube to watch some sort of step-by-step tutorial of how to get something working. We want it to just be kind of like you plug it in and it works. And it's nice when it. I would say the Canon USB thing. There are like some little thing, you adjust the camera, you need to get it on AC power, versus a battery and stuff. But it is
sure.
It is pretty. Once you get it all set up, it's nice.
Yeah, it's and you guys make it so easy, which is the best part. So anyone that's trying this or is just getting started, it's like anything though, Glenn. I mean, sitting down and trying to run a live broadcast, especially when you're live editing. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but once you practice, and I practice without recording, I do the stuff and I get into it. Once you do that, it all just kind of flows, like you were saying. All the plug and play features, the software itself is very user friendly. It's very easy to use, and I will say too, and you mentioned the same thing, that normally when I do have a guest, just to make it a little bit easier for the live editing, I will have a second monitor. Basically, one is just for Ecamm, so that I can control that. But yeah, I mean, everything else is pretty much just set up I told you. And also, big shout out as well for allowing us to use our cell phones as another input device, which I think is great. I've used it a lot for teaching people how to do certain things, how to turn on notifications on Facebook, all that kind of crap.
Interesting. Yeah, I've seen that used some nice effects, to like, especially like you said for tutorials and things like that, where like, oh, let me just show you on my phone, and then I kind of bring up the phone kind of on the side. Mm-hmm. And it comes through very crystal clear and nice.
Yeah, and I've got to tell you too, I've never experienced any latency or any lag. I guess you could use the right word there. I've never had any lag with any of the inputs that I've used, which is huge. I've had that before in the past. So, everything for me has just been, top of the top, which is why when I saw you guys were doing this, I'm like, I would love to get on here just to shout out how great these guys are, because it's not just that, but the community, the customer support. I mean, the group, the Ecamm community group. I'm a big part of that. I see everyone that's on there, and you guys are very active in there.
The community is so great. I mean, it's just so cool to see people helping out other users. Like we try to jump on there as much as we can, but it is very cool to see users helping each other, just because they care.
It's noticed too that you guys are in there, though. I mean, you guys could sit back, put the stuff out, let people in for themselves, but you guys are very active, and it shows. And I've noticed it from day one. So another big, pat on the back for that. It's
Well, thank
noticed.
you. Thanks.
Yeah,
So a little bit more about your setup.
mhm.
What kind of microphone setup do you use for your weekly show?
So right now I'm using just headphones with the input. I do have a Zoom H4n, I think is the one I have. I usually wear a lavalier. I haven't done it in a little while. I was having some trouble with the connection, but I normally like to wear that. However, I haven't tested the audio without headphones with a guest, so I don't know if that changes anything. I know you guys have the echo cancellation thing, which I think is helpful with that type of stuff. But normally, to be honest with you, I rock headphones.
Interesting.
But
Yeah. So the mic, you're using that little mic on your on the wire.
yeah,
we,
but
we
I do
found,
have. Go ahead.
we found the mic built into the Apple headphones is quite good. I'm using a Yeti mic right now. I think you can see it if I go to the to just me here. This Yeti mic, it's the sound is nice, but it's picking up sound from my air conditioning unit right now and from the road. Like when people watching this can probably hear like a little bit of a hum in the background. So it's I don't really know what to do about that other than to not live stream from my office. But when Ken did the Meet the Pros series episode last week, he just ended up using the mic that was just tied into his headphones because he was saying it wasn't picking up that same background noise.
That's true. Yeah, they've
Interesting
done well
to
for
know.
me. Yeah, and what I do is a little more relaxed. It's casual. It's not, while I want it to look good, it's not like super, super. I'm not wearing a suit. I'm just hanging out. It's supposed to be casual, so it kind of fits, I think, for what I do. So yeah, that does the job. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I know it's great. It's fun for me to do stuff like this because I'm a geek at heart. Having this setup, live down here, and it's like I walk into my own little world. It's so fun. And then, you guys have your setup for us, and that's the other thing too. The updates that you guys do are so often. It's like for us, it's like a surprise. Like, oh man, what have they done now? And it's another new feature. Like I can't wait to play green screen. I don't really need it because I have dedicated space for what I do, but I really want to explore with it because I think I could do some fun stuff with green screen.
Your background is pretty interesting. I mean, look at that. I couldn't help noticing that classic arcade game back there, kind of doing its own thing.
Galaga, baby.
That thing. That must be what's the date on that machine back there?
Oh, it's the 80s. Something with the 80s. Yeah.
What's that's so it's well over 30-year-old machine.
Oh no. The game is that old. The machine. It's part of the. It's part of the arcade 1-Up series, the new series, the whole arcades.
It's not vintage. Okay.
No. I can't do that. But yeah, it's fun. And like I said, I got the lights set up around there, so it's cool. And yeah, it's a fun setup. It's a fun thing to do. And when you can combine both passions, which I love live streaming, love live broadcasting. I love talking about magic. I love talking to people about stuff, and I love talking about this stuff. So, it's just great. And you have a lot of really cool members too that are using Ecamm. Some bigger than others. Some just starting. I know John Eric is a huge advocate and a big ambassador for you guys. I watch his stuff. I found him through the community, actually, the group.
Oh, good. Yeah, I love watching his videos. They make everyone laugh, and he's quite a whiz at the engagement aspect of things. So we're all trying to learn from John Eric, that's for sure.
Yeah. So not only do you get great software and a great system to use, if you want to call it a system, but you also get a great community if you choose to plug into that too, because it is out there. And like you said, everyone's so helpful. Besides the developers, besides you guys, just a really good group of people that all have the same interests. So it makes it easy, to talk about all this stuff. It's fun.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Well, this was really fun. Could go on all day, but we should probably start wrapping up this live stream. Let me just check my notes here and see if there's anything else I wanted to not forget to talk about.
I have a question for you.
Oh yeah, we can do that. That's all. Go ahead.
So for the future, so I know that you guys are very keyed into the tech space and what's going on. Do you happen to know if there's going to be any integration in the future? And you could decline this, and you could say, I don't know. For Instagram to roll in outside APIs where we can actually roll in outside broadcasts like this into Instagram Live, because obviously they're owned by Facebook. So for me, it would make sense to have that functionality available.
Yeah, I don't have any sort of inside track into whether that will actually be something in their public API, unfortunately. But it's definitely not something that's not technical. There's no sort of technical barrier to keep people from doing that. It's just not something that's in the Instagram API right now.
Okay.
I know that there's one service that we know of that has gotten Instagram up and running, and they're essentially doing it by, it's a little bit of a hack. They're kind of pretending to be a phone, I guess you could say.
Sure.
It's called Lula.tv.
Okay.
And it's an interesting service, and you can actually use it with Ecamm using Ecamm Live's virtual camera feature. So our virtual camera is a system whereby the output from Ecamm Live will essentially show up as a webcam to your other Mac apps. So right now I'm running virtual camera. If I was to open Chrome, go to that Lula service, and then punch up Ecamm Live as my camera, you essentially can use that to kind of go out to Instagram at the same time. And
that's cool.
I know we have users that have experimented with that. So I mean, it's definitely tempting to get your live on Instagram. That's for sure.
Yeah, dude, it's huge. Yeah, so not to sidetrack this, but appreciate the heads up on that. I'm about to check that out.
Yeah, it looks like a neat service. It's kind of it looks like they're coming, like also looking at that sort of multi-streaming angle, like sort of restream style, being able to go out to multiple platforms. And
cool.
The one thing to keep in mind though is, since we have the virtual cam, but we don't have a virtual mic yet. So in order to get the audio from Ecamm Live to flow through to Lula, you're looking at using a tool like Loopback to kind of route your audio. So in other words, it's possible, but it's not automatically coming through to Chrome.
Okay.
So, but yeah, definitely check that out.
Love it, man. Geeking out here. I love it.
Yeah, that's my thing. Hey, so this was really fun, Luke. Thanks so much for joining us today. If you're watching this in the replays and you have questions for Luke, or if you're watching live now, post down in the comments your questions, and he's gonna check back and answer them. Right? You're gonna go down in those comments and reply to people.
Absolutely, man.
We'll be online. All right. Again, thanks for joining us. Happy birthday, by the way.
Thanks, man.
And it was good talking to you.
You got it, man. You guys rock. Keep it up, man.
Hey, thank you. Bye, everyone.